Hello, and welcome to Master Your Art Skills. I'm Vlad Yeliseyev, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to paint and how to, most important, draw the cars when we're dealing with the streetscapes. Sometimes there are too many, we have to remove them. Sometimes they're just simply in the wrong place. And sometimes we need to actually add some cars. And today I'm going to show you how to draw them correctly. The very next Master Your Art Skills, we're going to deal with how to paint them. So it is actually a two-part event right now. So let me just go and send you my top camera, and I'm going to explain what I'm thinking and what do I do when I'm actually drawing them. And for that, I'm going to draw it right on watercolor paper right here. I'm using just a pencil, which is HB hardness 0.7 millimeter automatic pencil. Let me just shut down the virtual background here so it won't bother us. And now, another thing is I'm going to use eraser if I need it. Now, the most important thing right now is to identify the sidewalk. For instance, this is my closest, let's get this angle like this. A sidewalk closest to me is going to look like that. And this is the driveway. And that's, for instance, another sidewalk, which is on the opposite side of the street. You see this vanishing point I have drawn for you? It's actually already shows us the horizon line right here, which is very important. Now, let me make these lines darker so you could see them well. Sidewalk, driveway. It's a bit narrow. Why wouldn't we just narrow the sidewalk instead and make the driveway a little bit wider? Okay, so this horizon line, I put HL right here, will define the eye level for every person, which is the height of the painter right here. Let me just draw the guy walking down the street away from me in this direction, okay? And that's his head. Now, if there is say, a child right next to the guy, but that's another story, it's going to be, the head would be right below horizon line. I have workshop talking about the perspective, all right? Today, we're not going to concentrate on that. Now, supposedly, I would like to place a car in this place right here, okay? First of all, I need to decide, is it sedan, is it SUV, or is it a van? And that will define the height of the car. But I will start with, let's say, you see, I'm putting two help lines right here. I'm going to start with the projection of the car onto the driveway. Let's say that is the car. And I'm going to add a rectangular. That is going to be the low part of the car. And most important, it is actually going in the direction of the driveway. You see these two lines, they're very important. The car is usually moving along that actually lines in between them. Therefore, the projection has to go to the same vanishing point in this direction. Does it? You see, it's very, very important. Next thing, I actually, as you can see, I break the car into two big chunks first. Lower part, it's just a rectangular prism, and the upper part, it looks like most of the time as a short cone. Right here, a pyramid, I'm sorry, it is not a cone. All right, now what's important here? I mentioned it is a sedan. Therefore, the roof got to be lower than the head of the person. Okay, now if behind this car, I would like to put a larger car, let's say it's a van or something, delivery van, I will probably need to do, let's make it slightly wider here. I'm doing the same thing. I will need to put the top of the van above horizon line because it's simply because it is higher than the average person. That is very important, okay? Now, after I've done this and I'm happy with the heights and the width and how long the cars are, only then I will start developing them. And you see, I have drawn it as an X-ray. It's very important so that it would, the car, when it will be finished, it will look natural and there will not shown any mistakes in terms of the basic geometry. Okay, so after I've done this, I'm gonna lighten up all these lines. You see the help lines become much more lighter looking. And now I'm going to, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do a car. Look at this, I'm gonna start softening the lines everywhere. Let's say the base is not really straight line unless it's Tesla truck. It is sort of rounded, kind of, everything is rounded. You see there is a pillar, very important, or like a contemporary car, so almost all of them has this, and that's the roof, and we can soften the line as well. You see, but I am in a framework right now, solidly in a framework of this prism, okay, and the pyramid. Now, another thing is we're going to soften these lines, and I'm going to project a little bit this fender right here. Let's extrude it slightly. And I have to tell you, when I draw these cars, I don't really do any like maker of the car, like BMW or Tesla or like say a Honda car. It's just a generic, very generic sedan, okay? Because usually it doesn't really matter. Now, this line of the bumper will continue with the little protrusion in front of it, okay? And now I'm going to make the part which is actually sometimes hard for the people to draw. Look at this pillar I mentioned around. If you will project it down, it looks like a soap dish. Now the side is not straight anymore. It looks like, look, if I will draw the door right now, it will look like that. You see what I mean? Let's add rear view mirror, and then that's another door. The front door will look like that. And that is the line for the rear door. Make sense? And look at this, how rounded it is. I'm not shying usually, I just make it even rounder than it's in a normal life, it's absolutely fine. Now, at this point, we need to make cutouts for the tires. Look at this. So if that is the line, my cutout rear one will look like that. It will sort of follow that, okay? Very important. And the front one will do the same, okay? And I'm making it taller, slightly taller, and narrower looking because just simply because it is forward, all right? Now we're going to insert the actual tire itself. Just imagine it is a cylinder, which is no longer following this curve. It's really a cylinder, which is looking straight and vertically placed. This is the front of it, and that is the tire front. And the same thing we're going to do with the front tire, okay? The cylinder and under, you see? Of course, there is a notch over here. I usually just put a couple of lines there, and it looks just like that. So what we got here ultimately is that hole, a C inside opening right here looking into the car. What's left to do, my friends, it's just up to you. You can create any rear stoplights, like usually this one is bigger, smaller because it wraps around. The place for the plate, cut out for the exhaust pipes, and that's it. There is nothing else for us to show. Again, one more time, next time we're going to paint it. Now, I would like and usually prefer to pick bigger cars behind smaller ones, like vans over there, so they wouldn't really obscure each other too much. And look at this, I'm softening again the top of the van, okay? We can put a middle line here, like doors or something. And we can actually also add a couple of rear windows right here, okay? Very simple. Same style of cutouts here. A little bit of front, much taller rear view window right here, okay? It's much easier to draw and much faster, and we are done right now, okay? Same thing we can get with approach we can do with the, let's put some larger SUV car. I usually just draw a person over here, just a head, you know, maybe it's a woman now. It could be smaller person, you know, okay, walking right next to the sidewalk, for instance, right here, okay? And now that will determine the height of the SUV. Look at this, I'll just put a line here. Like that line will identify the top of the SUV car, which is higher than sedan and a little bit lower than the delivery one in our case, okay? So now, we can just pretend that it's there. You see, I'm drawing the projection of the car on the asphalt here, and then I am going to add the front. Okay, let's imagine it's a large SUV, okay, and that is my rectangular, okay, rectangular prism right here, and then on top, I'm going to add the pyramid, okay. Now let's make it like that, for instance, okay? Now, if sometimes it would be helpful maybe to, like, you know, to put this help lines like this. You see, that's a pyramid. And if you cut it, it's a cut pyramid, so to speak. You will get a correct pyramid. It doesn't really matter that they will, different makers, different styles probably will not even meet in one point because the backs are much flatter, but that doesn't really matter. You can use it just as a matter of help, okay? So now we have two elements here, the lower rectangular prism, a top pyramid over here, and now let's get down to the business of rounding up things here, you see? And let's say this is my front, okay? My front, let's just pretend this is something fancy, a car. This is my front grille, headlights here. Okay, again, this is smaller, bigger, all right? Sometimes there is a notch here. I don't know what kind of car, just I'm coming out with sort of my design of the car. Okay, so Yeliseyev type of SUV. And then again, we're going to make a notch right here, okay? Much bigger rear view mirrors, soften, pillar. Now pillar is in the back of the car. And basically, the middle door, everything here, and basically we are done. Don't forget to identify another Okay, another tire, which is on the opposite side. Now I'm gonna probably make it a little bit more dynamic front, and we are done. My friends, it's so easy. Now, what's important? I placed the cars in a correct direction in relationship to each other, and relationship, most important, to the driveway. As I mentioned, this is the sidewalk. Let me just even put pavers here, for instance. Let's pretend it's just like that, okay? This is border stone, okay? Same thing over there. And the next time, we're going to paint it. Let me zoom in so you could see better. And that's how it looks. And of course, you can schmancy that. And we can even indicate the grill and everything like that. Now, when it comes to the painting, I try to keep in mind, and I'm going to show you some other ideas which I keep in mind when I'm painting. Now, before painting, I made it hard lines for you right here. And actually, it's too dark. It's really not good. So this is watercolor paper, okay? And there is just a little bit too dark. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lighten it up so it would be ready for the paint. Look at this. I'm gonna lighten it up, my pencil lines. And I feel much more comfortable painting this image as it is, okay? All right, so I hope that this short tutorial was helpful for you, my friends. And I hope to see you next time. Just get your paints ready and we're going to fire it up away. Until next time, thank you.